Hey, neighbor.
Whoa! Gracie, what the heck?
Their cattle with grain. One email to Crown shoppers would take down their business and ruin Amy and Nathan's relationship.
Some ghosts do not rattle chains or hide in shadows. Some ghosts live inside us in memories, regrets,
It's not related,
and whispers
but shortly
from the
after
past that
a little
refuse to
bird got
fade.
into Nathan's
In
head about
Heartland
some
season
grain
19,
we had on site.
episode 3, one of those ghosts returns, and life at the ranch will never be the same again after the emotional weight of episode 2. Ghosts begins with a quiet storm building at Heartland. The day starts like any other on the ranch, horses in the corral, the sound of coffee being poured in the kitchen, and that familiar Alberta sky stretching wide over the fields. But something feels different. There is a heaviness in the air, a feeling that something is about to shift. Heartland has always been a place of healing, but it has also been a place where the past does not always stay buried. As we move into episode 3, we see the emotional fallout that has been growing since the start of season 19. This season has already shown us how every character is trying to move forward, but they are each carrying something they have not faced. Amy is still finding her way after losing Ty. She has grown stronger, yes, but strength does not mean silence. Inside her, there are still questions, still wounds that time alone cannot close.
It's all taken care of.
Lou is struggling with leadership decisions that are pulling her in different directions as mayor, as a sister, and as a mother. Jack watches over everyone as he always does, but even he knows that something is about to test the very heart of the family. Episode 3 is not just another chapter. It is a turning point. The title, Ghosts, does not hint at horror. Instead, it hints at emotion, unresolved pain, old relationships, and secrets that time tried to bury. And like the changing seasons, the past begins to reappear. The episode opens with Amy working alone in the round pen, training a troubled horse brought in by someone she doesn't know. The horse is restless, wild-eyed, and full of fear. Amy senses right away that this is not just another training job. There is a story behind this animal, a past that scarred it. Horses mirror the people who handle them. And Amy knows this horse has been through something, or maybe it has been around someone who left more than physical marks. As she works with the horse, something about it feels familiar. It reacts to certain sounds. It looks toward the road as if expecting someone to return. When Amy asks the owner for more information, he avoids the question. He only says it belonged to someone who couldn't keep it anymore. But Amy knows there is more to it than that, and the truth has a way of finding its way to Heartland. Meanwhile, the ranch feels full of tension. Lou and Peter are trying to co-parent without arguments, but small things turn into disagreements. Katie notices, even when they think she doesn't. Lisa worries about Jack, who has been quieter than usual, spending more time alone in the barn. And Georgie, still away chasing her Olympic dreams, remains a missing piece of the Heartland puzzle, leaving everyone feeling her absence. But the real story begins when a truck pulls into the Heartland driveway late in the afternoon. The engine shuts off. A door opens. And when the driver steps out, Amy freezes. Jack steps out of the barn with a look that is half shock, half warning. Lou walks outside and stops in her tracks. Because standing there is someone they never expected to see again, someone tied to a painful chapter of their past. And just like that, the ghost has returned. The sun is beginning to set over Heartland as the stranger stands by his truck, the orange light stretching long shadows across the driveway. His face carries the weight of history, and his eyes tell a story even before he speaks. He does not smile. He does not make excuses. He simply stands there, like someone who has come to face judgment. Amy's breath catches in her throat. She knows this man too well. He is not a stranger at all. He is someone tied to a chapter she thought was over, someone who reminds her of pain she has tried to rise above. He is connected to Ty. A storm builds silently inside her. Questions flood her mind. Voices of the past rush back, but her body refuses to move. Before she can find words, Jack steps forward.
That bird will be happy to know she doesn't have to ruffle
He places himself between Amy and the visitor, protective as always. "What are you doing here?" Jack asks in a voice that is calm but full of warning. The man looks around the ranch like he is searching for courage. "I didn't come for trouble," he says slowly. "I came to make things right." The words hang in the air like smoke. Amy knows what he means before anyone says it out loud. This man is connected to Ty's death. He is part of the reason Ty never came home. And now, after all this time, he has returned to Heartland. Lou steps outside, unaware of what she is walking into. But as soon as she sees Amy's face frozen,
It's like the way you returned my
pale,
phone the
she
other day.
realizes something is wrong. Lisa
sure it's
watches
not
from a
related,
few
but
steps
shortly
away,
after that, a
silent
little
but tense, ready to stand beside her family like she always does. Peter arrives just as the tension peaks, glancing from face to face, trying to understand. The man does not step forward. He stays exactly where he is, as if he knows the burning anger that lives here. I didn't come to open old wounds, he continues. But I can't carry this anymore. I need to speak to Amy. Jack shakes his head. Not tonight, he says firmly. You should leave. Amy wants to scream. She wants to demand answers. She wants to tell him
Well,
that
that bird
nothing
will be
he
happy
says
to
can
know she
fix
doesn't
what
have
he
to ruffle
broke.
any more
But
feathers.
she is frozen, because deep down,
It's all taken care of.
beneath the heartbreak and anger, there is another feeling, a small, cruel part of her that wants to hear what he has to say. Not for forgiveness, not for peace, but for truth. Lou puts a hand on Amy's shoulder, trying to ground her. Amy, she whispers, you don't have to do this. Amy shakes her head. No, she says softly, never taking her eyes off the man. I do. The wind blows across the yard, moving the dust under the truck. Somewhere in the distance, a horse whinnies like it senses the storm that has rolled in. Heartland has seen many hardships, but this moment feels different. This is not a battle of land, or money, or business. This is something deeper, emotional, personal, dangerous. Jack clenches his jaw, fighting between protecting Amy and letting her find her own way. Finally, he steps back, his eyes never leaving the man. You have 5 minutes, he says. After that, you leave. For good. The man nods. Amy walks past Jack and stops just a few steps away from the one person she hoped she would never see again. The air between them feels heavy, full of unspoken pain. Why now? Amy asks. Her voice doesn't shake. It slices the silence cleanly. He looks at her, eyes full of something she does not expect: remorse. Real remorse. Because the past doesn't disappear, he says. Not until you face it. Amy doesn't reply. Not
Whoa.
Yet. But in
Gracie,
that moment,
what the heck?
one thing becomes clear.
Sorry.
It is not the dead who haunt the living. It is the living who carry ghosts in their hearts. And this ghost just walked back into her life. The wind has picked up, bending the tall grass around the ranch as Amy walks away from the man. She cannot listen to him, yet not without falling apart. She heads to where she feels safest, the one place where words are not needed: the barn. The troubled horse is still there, pacing inside the stall, restless and uneasy, like it senses the turmoil outside. Its ears twitch at every sound, and its eyes shift nervously from shadow to light. Amy steps into the stall and slowly reaches for the horse's halter. Her hands are gentle, but her mind is far from calm. She wants to focus, to lose herself in the quiet rhythm of training, but something gnaws at her.
I'm on
She had
patrol.
worked with many horses
Patrol
before,
for what exactly?
but she had never felt
Got
a
any cattle,
connection
miss?
quite like this one. It was as if the horse carried a story within it, something broken, something aching. She brushes her hand along the horse's neck and pauses when she feels a small bump. A scar, not a fresh one, old, healed over time, but still visible. Her eyes narrow. She had seen marks like this before on wild horses rescued from abuse, or on horses pushed too hard in rough hands. But when she leans closer, she notices something else. Burned into the horse's bridle, almost hidden by wear, is a small symbol, a carved letter. Her breath catches. It's a T. 1,000 memories flood back. Ty! The nights they spent saving horses together. The long drives, the rescues, the shared purpose. Ty had used that letter as a quiet mark on some of the equipment he repaired by hand. Nothing flashy, nothing loud, just a simple way of leaving a piece of himself behind. But what was his mark doing on the bridle of this horse? Amy steps back, heart pounding. This was no random horse. It had been close to Ty, or someone connected to him. But who? And why did it show up now, just as Ty's past had returned to her doorstep? She hears footsteps behind her. She turns sharply, prepared to send whoever it is away. But it's Jack, standing in the barn doorway with that watchful, worried look he saves only for family. He doesn't ask if she's okay. He already knows the answer. Instead, he steps inside and rests his arms on the stall door, watching the horse. There's something about this one,
When I
Amy
finish
says
this, and then
quietly.
I'll
I
check on the
figured,
herd and
Jack
report
replies,
back to ya.
Horses don't lie.
That's real neighborly of
Amy
you.
wipes a tear she didn't mean to let fall. This horse belonged to someone Ty knew, someone who mattered to him. I can feel it. Jack pauses, studies her face for a moment, then nods. Then it looks like we're not dealing with just one ghost tonight. Amy shows him the small mark on the bridle. Jack runs his thumb over the carved letter and closes his eyes for a moment, as if fighting a wave of emotions. I haven't seen that in years, he says, voice low. Amy looks at him. Jack, do you know something? Jack takes a slow breath before he answers. I know this horse didn't end up here by chance. Someone wanted you to find it. Night falls over Heartland like a curtain, heavy and final. The ranch
It's
house
not
glows
related,
with warm
but shortly
light,
after that,
but
a little
nothing
bird got
feels
into
warm
Nathan's
anymore.
head about some
Not
grain
tonight.
they had on site.
Amy steps outside, her eyes searching the yard. The mysterious horse has raised more questions than answers, but she cannot dig deeper until she faces the man who brought the past crashing back. She finds him near the old fence by the road, waiting under the dark sky. He stands still, hands in his pockets, staring at the distant mountains like someone already carrying a heavy sentence. Amy stops a few feet away. She doesn't want to step closer. She doesn't want to share the same air. But she needs what he has answers. Talk, Amy says. One word. Cold.
Later, chickadee.
Controlled. A wall. He nods as if he expected nothing less. The horse, he says quietly. His name is Shadow. Amy doesn't react. Not yet. She won't let him guide this conversation. Why was Ty's mark on his tack? She asks, cutting straight to what matters. The man takes a breath. Because Shadow belonged to someone Ty was trying to help. Before he stops himself. He can't say it. None of them can. Ty is still wound in every voice. Amy steps forward now, anger burning beneath calm. You knew Ty. You were there when he died. And you lied. You said it was no one's fault. For the first time, he looks directly at her. His eyes are not hard. They are tired. I didn't lie, he says, but I didn't tell the whole truth. Amy's heart pounds like hooves against frozen ground. Then tell it now. He nods. Ty was helping someone who didn't deserve it. Someone who ran from everything and everyone. Shadow belonged to that person. When things went bad, Ty didn't hesitate. He stepped in. He protected someone who wouldn't have done the same for him. Amy closes her eyes briefly, remembering. That was who Ty was. Always. The kind of man who risked himself without thinking twice. The kind of man who would run into fire if someone needed saving. Who was he helping? Amy asks. Give me a name. But the man shakes his head. Not yet. If I tell you now, you'll go after them. And you're not ready. Amy's voice sharpens. You don't get to decide what I'm ready for. He nods slowly, accepting her anger. I know I don't deserve to tell you what to do, but I came here because Shadow is in danger. And so are you. The words land like a blow. Amy doesn't move, but she feels the shift. Danger. Real danger. Something deeper than grief or guilt. How am I in danger? She asks. Because Ty was working with people who don't like unfinished business, he says. And since he's gone, you're the one who holds what they want. Amy stares at him. She wants to call him a liar, send him away, make this all disappear. But the horse, the scar, the mark, the timing, none of this is an accident. Why did you really come here? She asks slowly. He meets her eyes. For the first time, his voice breaks. Because I owed Ty my life. And if I can't fix what happened, the least I can do is keep his family safe. Amy is silent. Her heart aches. She hates him. She believes him. She needs him. She never wanted any of this. He takes something from his jacket. A folded piece of paper. Worn. Torn at the edges. He holds it out. This was the last thing Ty wrote, he says. He never got the chance to send it. Amy doesn't take it. Not yet. Her hand hovers, afraid to touch what feels like a ghost in paper form. What is it? She asks softly. A name, he says. The person he was trying to save. The night holds its breath. Amy reaches out. Her fingers close around the paper. Amy does not open the paper right away. She holds it like it carries fire. Part of her wants to tear it apart before it breaks her again. Another part wants to press it to her chest and never let go. It feels like touching Ty's voice. His thoughts, one more piece of him she didn't know existed. And she is scared. Not of danger, not of pain, but of what
Grain,
this
we have
letter might
insight.
do to the version of Ty she has kept safe in her memory.
Well, that bird
Behind
will be
her,
happy to know she
the
doesn't have
ranch
to
lights
ruffle
glow
anymore, Fred.
faintly. She can almost hear life going on inside. Lou moving dishes, Jack closing the barn doors, Lisa feeding the dogs. Heartland is a place built on routine and resilience. But tonight, nothing feels routine. Nothing feels simple. Because tonight, Truth walked through the gate. Amy unfolds the papers slowly. The handwriting is messy, rushed. Ty wrote this in a hurry, she realizes. Maybe he knew he was running out of time. Her eyes scan the page. There is only one line written at the top, just 7 words. If anything happens to me, find her.
It's like the way
Amy
you
stares
returned my
at the
phone the
words
other
until
day.
they blur. Find her. Her,
I'm sure it's not
him.
related, but shortly
Not
after that,
them.
a little bird.
A woman. Someone Ty cared about enough to write this warning. Someone he wanted Amy to find. Someone he trusted her with. Her blood goes cold. The questions sharpen. Who is this woman? Why did Ty keep her a secret? And why now, years later, is she suddenly important again? Below the line is a name. It hits Amy like a stone to the chest. She reads it again to be sure. There is no mistake. She knows this name. She has heard it before, long ago. A name tied to a distant part of Ty's life before Heartland.
Well, that
Before
bird will be
peace,
happy to know she
before
doesn't have to
family.
ruffle any more
Her
feathers.
grip tightens around the letter. This
all
doesn't
taken
make
care of.
sense, she says quietly. Her voice isn't angry now. It's confused. It's wounded. Why wouldn't he tell me about her? The man standing before her shifts uncomfortably. Because he was trying to protect you, he says. The less you knew, the safer you were. Amy shakes her head. No, that's not how we were. Ty and I never hid things from each other. He meets her eyes. You think you knew everything because you loved him. But you didn't know everything. You couldn't. Ty didn't want you pulled into this. The truth is a painful weight. Amy wants to argue, but deep down she understands. Ty was a protector by nature. He always carried more than he should. Always tried to stand between danger and the people he loved. She hated that about him sometimes, and she loved him for it too. She looks at the name again. It doesn't belong to a stranger. It belongs to a ghost from Ty's past. A ghost that is now walking straight into hers. Shadow shifts restlessly behind them, as if sensing what comes next. The night air grows colder. Far off in the dark, a coyote cries. The man glances toward the sound before turning back to Amy. They're already looking for her, he says. And if they think you know where she is, they'll come for you next. Amy folds the letter and tucks it safely into her jacket. Her voice is steady now, clear, controlled. Then we find her first, she says. The man stares at her. You're going to need help, he warns.
Whoa.
This won't be easy.
Gracie,
These
what the
people
heck?
Ty died trying to save her.
Sorry.
Amy cuts in. I'm not letting that be for nothing. He nods once. No argument. No smile. Just a quiet understanding. The decision has been made. Behind them, a door opens. Jack steps out into the cold night. His eyes scan the yard until he sees Amy, standing tall with a storm in her eyes he hasn't seen in a long time. A storm that looks a lot like Ty. Amy, Jack says, walking toward her. It's late. Come inside. She turns, but she is not the same woman who walked out of the house minutes ago. Something has shifted. Something has awakened. She nods at Jack, but her voice holds quiet fire when she speaks. I will, she says. But tomorrow, everything changes. Jack studies her face and sees the truth in her eyes.
I'm on
He
patrol.
does not ask questions.
Patrol for
he
what
simply
exactly?
nods. Because
any
he knows,
catalyst?
just like before when Amy Fleming makes a promise, she keeps it. And this time, she has made a promise to the dead. Dawn creeps over Heartland, soft light breaking across the hills. But this morning does not feel like any other. Inside the house, no one speaks much at breakfast. There is a quiet, careful energy, as if everyone knows something has changed but no one knows what to say about it. Amy barely touches her coffee. Her mind is sharp now, focused. The letter is folded inside her pocket like a heartbeat she can feel through the fabric. Across the table, Lou watches her sister. She doesn't ask questions, but her eyes do. Jack avoids conversation altogether. He reads the same newspaper page 3 times without turning it. Lisa tries to break the silence with small talk about a new foal coming soon, but even that feels heavy. Something has shifted, and Heartland can feel it. The uneasy peace is broken by a knock at the door. Not a friendly knock, not a neighborly one. Heavy, Controlled, purposeful. The room stills. Jack's eyes meet Amy's. A warning passes between them without a word. Amy stands, her hand instinctively brushing against a folded letter in her pocket. Jack follows her, stepping in front of the door before she reaches it. "I'll handle this," he says. He opens the door only halfway. Outside are two men dressed in dark jackets. Clean, polite, not ranchers. One of them gives a practiced smile. "Morning," the man says smoothly. "Sorry to drop by so early. We're looking for someone.
When I finish this,
Thought
and then
maybe
I'll
you could help."
check on
Jack
the
does
herd
not
and
return the
report
smile.
back to ya.
"We're not hiring,"
That's real neighborly
he
of you.
replies, already pushing to close the door. The man stops it with his hand. "This won't take long. We're looking for a woman who may have passed through this area. She goes by different names. Hard to track. But we know she has a connection to Ty Borden." The name hits like a punch. Behind Jack, Amy freezes. Lou stiffens. Lisa looks confused. Only one person remains calm, the stranger from last night. He had stepped quietly into the hallway the moment he heard the knock. He stands behind Amy now, jaw clenched. He knows who sent these men. Jack keeps his eyes locked on them. "Never heard of her," he says flatly. The second man speaks, voice colder. "We were told a horse came through here. A black gelding. Small white star on the forehead. Could be dangerous. Belongs to someone who doesn't like being found. Shadow."